Welcome to the NitWits, a weekly roundtable discussion on the Penn State Nittany Lions, now in its 28th season. Our panel features a longtime Penn State media and NitWits tag team, Neil Rudel of the Altoona Mirror and Mark Brennan of Lions 24/7 with Fight on State. And each week we welcome a former Nittany Lion as our special guest analyst. The NitWits are brought to you by Irwin Financial, Raymond James, a firm foundation for your financial future. By Reed and Solani Orthodontics, providing friendly, family-focused orthodontic care in Altoona, Bedford, and Huntington. By Kogan Electric, lighting the way for you. By Blair Candy Company, the one-stop shop for all your tailgating needs. Candy, snacks, paper supplies, and more. By Dorman's Jewelry, the answer is always Dorman's. By Harry's Construction, if you can dream it, we can create it. By DeLeo Games, serving the community since 1945. By Keller Engineers, delivering results, exceeding expectations. By Lions 24/7 with Fight on State, your online home for Penn State football and recruiting coverage. And by the Altoona Mirror, featuring Penn State Game Day every Friday and Penn State Extra every Monday.
Hey, what I'm doing, hey, getting right to it. Yeah, the money is talking, I'm flowing, it's coming in just how I drew it. Yeah, you know what it is. Hey, we doing it big. Look up, there is no limit, no, we cannot settle for this. Yeah, can't stop, nah, won't stop. Yeah, spin on live, you don't believe it, just watch.
Welcome to Nittany Nation Overtime. We are the NitWits. I wear as close to a black sweater as I thought I had. Neil Rudel, joined by Mark Brennan. Welcome back, by the way.
Yeah, it's good to be back.
And Mike Lukac, our new Nitwit. Take that as a compliment.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
And a referral from Joe Nastasi. He's probably looking for some kind of a kickback. But
I'm sure he is.
We'll get right to it. Northwestern comes in here, 22-21 defeat Penn State. Only more surprising than last week's loss to previously winless UCLA was this one. And the fact that it was at home on homecoming. We really haven't experienced this kind of environment as long as we both have been around, and Mike played in the early 2000s. The fans, again, are chanting loudly and taunting James Franklin. It's a very ugly scene. They've lost 3 in a row. The season really has blown up. It feels like, James is clearly in trouble. Whether how and when and how that may progress or digress, it's very unfortunate. Now they lost their quarterback, Drew Aller, so a lot to work with yesterday, and none of it was positive.
A lot to unpack.
Yeah.
To me, the boos are one thing. I don't think that's the biggest problem. To me, the biggest problem was a half hour before the game, there are tens of thousands of empty seats. During the game, kickoff, thousands and thousands of empty seats. After the third quarter, I went out on the back deck from the press box, looked out, cars streaming out. The student section, half full.
They were still in the game at that point.
Right. And, my point being, you could say what you want about the boos, but that's showing people care. When people are leaving, that's apathy. That's trouble. And that when we're in an era where they're asking people to pony up how much money for season tickets, just last week people were getting asked for more money for their season tickets. When you know how much the coach is making, I'm on record, I have no problem with coaches making whatever the market demands. But it's different now. I mean, now it's all about the buck. Now it's all about the bottom line. And when these things start impacting the bottom line, that's usually what precipitates a change.
Penn State's been fortunate that they've not only had financial investment, but emotional investment too. Mike, Of course, when we lined you up, I thought this was a softball slam dunk. But how take the temperature of you and the former players of the disappointment?
Disappointing is a good word for it. I think everybody had super high expectations, just like every Penn State fan did, and the sky was the limit going into the season, and it's a shame. As former players, you're obviously pulling for those kids, and you can, wish the best for them, but they still have to perform, and it's been, to say it was a letdown of a season so far is a little bit of an understatement. So, but the guys bleed blue still, and we're going to be behind those kids, regardless of how the rest of the season goes, and they have our support for sure.
Well, obviously, we'll be tracking that. Everyone is to see how the administration addresses this going forward. In the meantime, they got to break in a new quarterback. Drew Aller hurt very late in the game, trying to pick up a first down. He has run a lot. I don't think he's he's picked up a lot of first downs long way these last couple of years, but you put yourself in harm's way and now he's finished.
Yeah, one thing I wanted to say is whatever opinion you have about Drew Aller, I mean, there were some boos for Drew Aller before that game too. His decision making, maybe he doesn't sees guys, maybe he doesn't, but after that, you could never question that kid's heart and toughness. I mean, they asked him to do things that clearly weren't his strength, and he didn't care. He was doing what he could to help the team. So for that to be the way he goes out, it's sad to see. And I just wanted to make sure that people know that I think you ought to have an appreciation for how damn tough that kid is, because he, again, whatever you think, super tough. Now you turn it over to Grunk. What do we know about Ethan Grunkemeyer? More mobile quarterback, throws better on the run maybe, not the big arm that Drew Aller has, but just not a lot of experience. So we're going to see, what happens. I mean, I remember when Hackenberg got hurt a few years ago in the bowl game, and a guy named Trace McSorley came in and ended up being really good. I'm not saying that's necessarily Grunk, but you never know what's going to happen in these games.
Well, what did you see from Drew this game, this season? It just looked to me like, maybe the offense isn't totally suited for him, and just things went, they went through a receiver cycle. Tight ends were shut out yesterday.
Sure, which is, as a former tight end, always disappointed to see the tight ends held catchless. But, the kid has all the measurables. He's got the height, the arm, the NFL look to him, and going into the season he was being talked about as maybe the first quarterback drafted this year, and obviously that probably isn't the case anymore, and it's a shame to see anybody get hurt. But like you said, a little bit more mobile would be like the one area where I think Drew could have benefited, and maybe the new kids coming in will be that, and be that answer to the offense that we need.
Okay, we've covered the two positions that get the most credit and blame, coach and quarterback. We'll be right back with some other things that stuck out to us right after this.
The NitWits are being brought to you by Irwin Financial Raymond James, a firm foundation for your financial future. By Reed and Salaney Orthodontics, providing friendly, family-focused orthodontic care in Altoona, Bedford, and Huntingdon. And by Kogan Electric, lighting the way for you.
You're watching Nittany Nation Overtime.
Yeah, how about that, Mike? We'll get our internet working. Thank you to Lee Mills for being our producer and helping us with a graphic. Mike, while we have your bio up there, just a quick update on what you're doing, living in State College, helping to coach the State College football team, your occupation, family.
Yes, I do live in State College, went to Penn State, never left town. I work for a medical company called Zimmer Biomet, sell total knees, hips, and shoulders. Got 4 kids. My oldest son's a senior in high school. Then I have a daughter that's a junior, another daughter that's a 9th grader, and a 6th grade. So, like you said, help coach State High, help coach the little kids football. SC Lions is our youth program, and so it's a busy fall. Going from one practice to the next.
Yeah, well, appreciate you making time for us. I'll tell you what made me the most mad beyond, with different positions, the defense.
Yeah.
I mean, my God, the offense finally scores. Takes the lead with everything. Was a trip to the dentist the whole way. I do give Northwestern a lot of credit how tough they played, how well coached they were. Penn State allowed eight first downs in the last 2 series by Northwestern. I mean, come on. You have a high-priced defensive coordinator and some potential high-round draft pick. 8 first downs to melt the clock away.
Yeah, Mike knows this as well as anybody. Complementary football is the key to any team. Complementary with an E, and where the offense does something, then the defense does something, then the special teams. This was a great example where the Penn State has been struggling all season long, and you finally get Devontae Ross to blow the lid off of a play and get you down there in position where you punch it in, and to me, that could have been the momentum swing for the season. The defense has to step up there and get the job done, and it just didn't. And I think even more troubling is Northwestern gets to the 20-yard line and basically rams it straight down their throat. I mean, how does that happen? The other thing, penalties. I mean, in the first half, that's the second half. I mean, 6 penalties in the first half for 71 yards. 2 face masks, a veteran jumping offside. Denied Dennis Sutton, great player, jumping off sides.
First series gives them a first down.
Yeah, I mean, late hits. Yeah. I mean, it's just unbelievable what we were seeing from that defense. So it actually played well for most of the second half, but then to come up short when the game's on the line, it's almost as if good teams find a way to win. This team has been finding a way to lose. Painful, excruciating,
undisciplined,
unbelievable ways to lose.
Yeah. What did you see defensively? They were persistent. They didn't gash the big plays like UCLA did, but they sure made the first downs and ball control when they had to.
Yeah, I think they're certainly missing Rojas. That kid was a good player, hard to replace. Wheatley, I think, is continuing to have a great season. He's a heck of a player. But, just missed tackles and the linebacking play, I think, needs to step up for sure.
Yeah, and they went right after Harris, who's supposedly one of the nation's great corners, and had a beautiful touchdown pass over him.
I also thought Northwestern did a good job of committing to the run. They averaged less than 3 yards per carry, but 42 carries, and they kept pounding and pounding and pounding. And then we go back to that. They get it to the 20 late in the game, and the Penn State defense is gassed, and they're able to march right through them. So talk about kind of differences in the way offenses are run. One, committing to the run. One, your best player on offense isn't on the field for 3 of the 4 plays when the game is on the line. I mean, Katron Allen, I just don't understand it.
Yeah, a lot of things we don't understand. Well, we will touch on those things on the offense right after this. Stay with us.
The NitWits are being brought to you by Blair Candy Company, the one-stop shop for all your tailgating needs. Candy, snacks, paper supplies, and more. By Dorman's Jewelry. The answer is always Dorman's. And by Harry's Construction. If you can dream it, we can create it.
You're watching Nittany Nation Overtime.
Okay, we dissected the defense. Let's move to the other side of the ball where they only had 13 first downs and 51 plays. That's a really low number, and that's part of the reason that these guys, that the tight ends, were blanked. They're just not getting enough touches for their playmakers. I don't know, all of a sudden Liam Clifford became a feature part of the game plan. You're throwing the ball to him in the end zone. Withdrew, another underthrown, bad decision, 2nd and 2 from the 9, and you got to throw that ball away or keep running the ball. I thought they got away from the run. Then you threw the ball back to Clifford. It looked like he was going to pass it.
Yeah, I want to ask Mike. I mean, Aller, according to the official stats, was 6 of 6 on passes at or behind the line of scrimmage for a total of 1 yard. What is that? I mean, seriously, what from a coach's standpoint, what should that be doing? What should that be setting up? I'm not trying to put you on the spot.
Yeah.
We tried to get Andy in here.
Yeah. No, it's a great question, and I don't know. I mean, I keep waiting for the Nick Singleton of old to show up, and he's been struggling a little bit this year. Katron, I think, is obviously the guy this year. But to your question, it's interesting. I'm not sure what they're thinking. Got to get the ball downfield.
Yeah, because you're on that. They're on their last series, and they throw that swing pass to Singleton. It's almost intercepted, and he loses 3 yards. I mean, they are putting themselves behind the sticks on so many of these drives with that short passing game. It's like they're trying to do this horizontal stuff, and then you finally go vertical, like with Ross kind of coming across and then slanting up, and it pops big. And then with Singleton, Mike, listen, we're 6 games in. I mean, I think the time, it's not going to happen. I mean, if it hasn't happened yet, when is it going to happen? And I have nothing but respect for Nick Singleton, but Katron Allen has been getting it done, and they go to Katron early in the game. He has a rhythm going, and then it's almost as if they brought Singleton in and just had to have him score that one touchdown.
Well, I give him credit because Katron was short on the one, and they gave it to him on 4th down and used his speed, Singleton, and got him to the edge to score the go-ahead touchdown.
Still 2.6 yards per carry.
Right, I get it. I wonder if it's, hey, these NIL deals and promises to bring guys back, and here's where you are. James is always talking about being on schedule and not behind the sticks, and then they throw that ball backwards to Singleton. I didn't understand, that at all. And God forbid they should throw it deep.
Yeah. I mean, they had 2 passes of, was it 15 yards or more, and completed 1 for 20. So I know I'm overdoing it with the stats probably, but when you look at these things after the game, like sometimes during the course of the game, you have a sense for what's happening, but then you look at the stats and it's like, wow. I mean, you mentioned it. This guy has a huge arm. I mean, where was it?
Yeah.
Where was it the last 2 years?
Yeah, when he first warmed up at Purdue when he was a true freshman, Franklin and Joel Klatt were like, look at this guy.
Yeah.
He's going to be the #1 pick or a first round. Would you have punted? Both you guys, would you have punted with 3 minutes to go? You're now bringing in a backup quarterback on 4th down. You have all your timeouts. Well, you're good at the end of the season, they're going to have a timeout brunch. I'm sorry.
In the moment, I guess, Neil, the best way of looking at it is the way this season has gone, yeah, they should have punted because they have not been making that clutch play. They just haven't been doing it. So I was down there, and I was on the sideline at that point, and I wasn't thinking that. I'm thinking, maybe you get it, but yeah, I mean, as I took a step back, you should punt because you have all 3 timeouts. But your defense had just melted.
That's right.
Yeah, so
that's right. But you have a backup quarterback too in there at that point.
Well, maybe he brings some fire. I don't know. I mean, at this point, it's almost like no matter what button they're pushing is the wrong one.
I think they should have punted. Like you said, a backup quarterback there, bringing him in a tough spot. I'm sure his nerves were going, and you kind of want to ease a kid in, maybe let him complete a couple short passes, maybe hand the ball off a couple times, and just kind of really throw him into the fire on that 4th down. I think maybe punting would have been a better idea.
Of course, you grew up, that would have been a punt.
Yeah.
That's definite. The special teams. You block a punt the second game in a row. Usually you win a game when you block a punt. Certainly last week when you're at UCLA and scored a touchdown off it. The Ross fumble hurt.
Yeah, well, hey, nice kickoff return. Davian Collins downing a ball at the 1. So you have all these good things, but
Corey
then Ross.
Smith on the kickoff
return. Corey Smith for like 30-some yards. So you have all these good things, but again, it's like everything they do well is balanced out. Give the defense credit, and that's where I thought the defense had turned a corner in that game. I mean, they get the ball at the 9-yard line after the Ross muff on the on the punt, and the defense holds them, forces a field goal, and you think, okay, now the defense has finally found its footing, but unfortunately it didn't. And then you have I hate to even bring his name up because we never have ever even talked about Tyler Holsworth.
Yeah.
But he gets one opportunity, and I mean, he's been in the program for years. He's got to just take a knee.
Yeah, he's very well respected.
Yeah.
Was one of the bowl games that he mimicked was the kid from Boise State.
Yeah.
Genty.
Yeah. I mean,
What are you seeing up front? Because you had to block your share also.
Yeah. It's I keep waiting for us to dominate the line of scrimmage offensively. I mean, you look at those kids and they're absolutely massive. They certainly pass the eye test, but I feel like we're bigger, faster, stronger than most of the teams that we play. Let's play like we're bigger, faster, and stronger, and push them around. And it's like you said, if it was week 6, if it was going to happen, it would have happened by now. And it's a little frustrating to see.
Yeah, and it's both sides of the ball.
Sure it is.
To be fair, it's not just the offensive line. It's
no,
the
nobody
defense.
has more than 2 sacks on this team, which is kind of hard to believe. This, given the level of talent. Now, Dennis Sutton has a bunch of quarterback pressures, but nobody on this team has more than 2 sacks, and we're 6 games into the season.
Okay, speaking of 6 games, that leads us to our Nitwood standings. We'll be right back. We'll make our Iowa predictions and wrap up the show.
The Nitwits are being brought to you by the Leo Games, serving the community since 1945. By Keller Engineers, delivering results, exceeding expectations. By Lions 24/7 with Fight On State, your online home for Penn State football and recruiting coverage. And by the Altoona Mirror, featuring Penn State Game Day every Friday and Penn State Extra every Monday.
You're watching Nittany Nation Overtime.
Yeah, we're working on a deflated ball.
You're working on nothing, buddy.
Yeah, I'm having almost as bad a season as James.
Oh, no.
They're going to Iowa this week.
We're not going to fire
Actually,
you.
if the defense would have held on, that Mike Irwin and the guest would have been the nitwit of the week
insurmountable
this year.
lead.
So we're going to have to fix this. We so far have not picked any of these, and none of us have picked any of these losses. So go ahead, Mike. Why don't you start out? Start us out on a positive note.
Going to Iowa, night game. Kinnick Stadium's a tough place to play, especially at night. I think the new kid that will do a good job at quarterback. Like I said, they try to ease him in a little bit, especially on the road. Loud environment. We'll get the running game going. I think we'll win it 30-21, let's say.
Okay, that's an optimistic pick. I can't pick them. I picked them to be 12-0, and that has exploded. That's probably one of the laundry list of things. Yeah, don't chant. You kind of expect a low-scoring game with Kirk Ferentz out there at night. The place will be fired up. They're playing better. They just pounded Wisconsin. That's another program that guy's in trouble. I'm going to say low-scoring Iowa 22, Penn State 17.
Yeah, Penn State's finding ways to lose. I mean, and I don't know that I see them break. I guess I'll believe they're going to break out of that when I see it at this point. I picked this as an upset potential game before the season, and I'm going to go with Iowa as well. I'm going to go a little bit closer. I'm going to give you some leeway, and I will go Penn State 20, Iowa 24.
Okay. You're at 4, I'm at 5. So
I'll give you space.
We're both
I'm being nice
we're
to
both
you.
Strategically positioned. Mike, a little insight as we wrap up here. Your last couple years at Penn State, you guys were struggling. What are your memories and how you guys kind of held it together?
Well, 3-9 was my senior year, 2003, and obviously a bad way to go out and end your career. But it was never. We never felt bad for ourselves. We went into every game fully believing we were going to win. They were tight games, and some things just didn't go our way. Obviously, a lot of times that season. But the guys in that building never, turned their back on each other. There was never really fighting from within. We kept confidence up. It was just kind of one of those things that you get into games and it would kind of feel like, oh, here we go again, and I'm wondering if maybe that's where our guys are right now. Something happens and here we go again. It happened against Oregon, happened against UCLA, happened against Northwestern, and obviously you got to guard against that. Yeah,
and now you're on the road for 2 weeks. You're riding a 3-game losing streak. You're 0-3 in the Big Ten.
Then you get Indiana.
Yeah, it's very possible. I mean, you're sitting here with Iowa at Ohio State. It's not a place you usually get well. And then Indiana coming in here. Look at them.
Yeah,
National Coach of the Year candidate.
It's tough. I mean, Mike hits on a good point. It's time for this team to stick together, and we're going to learn a lot about this team in the next few weeks about leadership and how dedicated they really are.
Well, Mike, thank you. What a great debut.
I appreciate that very much. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it. We'll be back for our post-Iowa show next week. Thank you for watching.
The Nitwits have been brought to you by Irwin Financial, Raymond James, a firm foundation for your financial future. By Reed and Solani Orthodontics, providing friendly, family-focused orthodontic care in Altoona, Bedford, and Huntington. By Kogan Electric, lighting the way for you. By Blair Candy Company, the one-stop shop for all your tailgating needs. Candy, snacks, paper supplies, and more. By Dorman's Jewelry, the answer is always Dorman's. By Harry's Construction, if you can dream it, we can create it. By DeLeo Games, serving the community since 1945. By Keller Engineers, delivering results, exceeding expectations. By Lions 24/7 with Fight on State, your online home for Penn State football and recruiting coverage. And by the Altoona Mirror, featuring Penn State Game Day every Friday and Penn State Extra every Monday. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.